Do you often find yourself struggling with negative thoughts? You're not alone. Many of us are often caught in the grip of negative emotions such as anger, jealousy, or resentment, which can cast a deep shadow over our daily lives and relationships. However, there's a ray of hope. Buddha introduced a method for gradually training our minds to better manage these emotions. So stay with us as we delve into these steps to gain control over our minds. But what if we told you that there's a method introduced by Buddha to gradually train your mind to better manage these emotions? Step 1 is awareness. As we delve into the Buddha's teachings, we quickly realize that awareness is the cornerstone of controlling our minds. But what does it mean to be aware? Picture yourself walking in a lush forest. You're not just seeing the trees or hearing the birds, you're feeling the wind on your face, smelling the earthy scent of the forest floor. You're completely present, taking in every sensation. That's awareness. Now translate this mindfulness to your thoughts. When a negative thought arises, don't push it away or get swept up in it. Instead, observe it, recognize its presence. You might say to yourself, here's anger, or hello, jealousy. This recognition is not judgmental or reactive, it's purely observational. By acknowledging these negative thoughts as they surface, we're taking the first step in gaining control over them. And just like that lush forest walk, the journey is full of discovery and growth. By recognizing these negative thoughts, we can begin to take control over them. The second step involves a shift to positive thoughts. Picture for a moment a garden. Now imagine that every thought you have is a seed you plant in this garden. Negative thoughts are like weeds, they choke the life out of your beautiful flowers and plants. But positive thoughts? They're the seeds of roses, daisies and sunflowers that fill your garden with vibrant colors and sweet fragrances. When you become aware of a negative thought sprouting, make a conscious choice to plant a positive seed instead. Redirect your mind to positive, peaceful memories or actions that bring you joy. Perhaps it's a cherished memory of a loved one, or the satisfaction of completing a project, or even the simple pleasure of a warm cup of tea on a cold day. By shifting our focus to these positive thoughts, we cultivate our mental garden with care and attention, ensuring that it flourishes with positivity and peace. This practice, though seemingly simple, has profound effects. It fosters a sense of happiness, reduces stress, and promotes a positive outlook on life. Moving forward, we arrive at the third step, considering the drawbacks of negative thoughts. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of negative thinking, but have you ever stopped to consider the harm these thoughts can cause? Negative thoughts are like poison to our minds, polluting our inner peace and causing unnecessary distress. They can hinder our personal growth, strain our relationships, and even impact our health. By reflecting on these drawbacks, we create a mental aversion to such thinking. We start to see these thoughts as they truly are, unhelpful, harmful, and ultimately unnecessary. Moreover, when we recognize the harm that negative thoughts can inflict not just on ourselves but also on others, we foster compassion for ourselves, for resisting the urge to engage in harmful thinking, and compassion for others by choosing not to act out our negative thoughts and emotions. When we consider the drawbacks of negative thinking, we further encourage the mind to let these thoughts go. Remember, this is a journey. With every step, we're moving closer to a peaceful mind and a happier life. So let's continue this journey together in the next step. The fourth step requires a little bit of ignoring. Now, this might seem counterintuitive, especially after we've talked about awareness and active thought shifting, yet this is an essential part of the process. Picture this: a child crying for attention. If you indulge them every time, they learn that crying gets them what they want. But if you ignore them, they eventually stop and find something else to focus on. The same concept applies to our negative thoughts. When we give our negative thoughts too much attention, we're essentially feeding them, allowing them to grow and dominate our minds. But by consciously choosing to ignore these thoughts, we're taking away their power, their control over us. We're teaching our minds that these thoughts are not welcome, that they won't get the attention they seek. And just like the child, these thoughts eventually fade, losing their intensity and frequency over time. However, ignoring negative thoughts doesn't mean suppressing them. It's about recognizing them, acknowledging their presence, but then deciding not to engage with them. It's about choosing where to direct our mental energy, choosing positivity over negativity. Now, let's move on to the fifth step, relaxing your mind. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, negative thoughts persist. They're stubborn and refuse to fade. When this happens, it's time for a different approach. Instead of engaging with or ignoring these thoughts, we can relax our minds with gentle, positive emotions. Think of compassion, understanding, gratitude, or love. These emotions have a calming effect on our minds, helping us to release tension and stress. They act as a soothing balm, healing the wounds inflicted by negative thoughts. By immersing ourselves in these positive emotions, we're creating a safe, peaceful space for our minds to rest and rejuvenate. Remember, it's not about forcefully pushing away negativity, but about inviting positivity, about replacing darkness with light. The more we practice this, the more natural it becomes, until eventually our minds instinctively gravitate towards positivity, towards peace. Just like a child who stops crying when not given attention, our negative thoughts can also fade away when we stop focusing on them. The final step, step 6, is a bit advanced and requires experience. This is where we firmly yet gently decide not to entertain negative thoughts. It's akin to a master gardener who carefully but decisively prunes away the harmful weeds from his garden. However, one must approach this step with care. Forcefully suppressing thoughts can sometimes intensify them. Much like a beach ball pushed underwater, it springs back with equal force. Instead, we should handle our thoughts with understanding and compassion, acknowledging them, but firmly deciding not to engage with them. Now let's take a moment to recap. We began with awareness, recognizing when negative thoughts arise. We then shifted our focus to positive thoughts, redirecting our mind to peaceful memories or actions. We considered the drawbacks of negativity, reflecting on the harm it can cause. We also learned to avoid giving our attention to these thoughts, letting them fade naturally. We discovered how to relax our minds with gentle, positive emotions. And finally, we learned to decisively but carefully not entertain negative thoughts. This journey of mind control, as taught by Buddha, is not a quick fix. It's a gradual training that requires time and persistence. It's like planting a seed and patiently nurturing it until it blossoms into a beautiful flower. Remember, this process takes time and persistence, but by consistently practicing these steps, you'll gradually clear your mind of negativity and find inner peace.